next. Let's turn back to politics and the Republican convention. Kevin McCarthy is California's top GOP lawmaker. He's also the House Minority Leader. He joins us tonight. Mr. Leader, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me back.
You know, Democrats portraying last night had a lot of things to say today. The biggest was it's an alternative reality that Republicans are living in. Your response to that?
I think last night was wonderful. I think it exemplified that it's okay to be excited about America. When you sit there and look at Massimo, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, how powerful. It didn't matter what party you were in. You were proud as an American. You were excited for what this nation been able to achieve, and an uplifting spirit, something that you did not see in the 4 nights of the Democrat convention.
The other thing that a lot of Democrats are having a problem with is one of tonight's speakers, and that's Secretary Pompeo from Israel. Take a listen to this.
For him to do this, I think further shows that this administration is willing to politicize the state of Israel and use it as a political wedge, as opposed to a rallying cry for us to come together and continue our traditions of bipartisan support for the state of Israel. To me, it's reckless.
As the secretary himself cautioned employees at the State Department that they should not be engaged in any partisan activities because they work for the State Department, and now he's doing just that.
Your response?
I have to laugh at Speaker Pelosi because Mike Pompeo is doing this on his own time. No government funding is being spent. But you know what we're spending government money on? We're spending government money on 68 Democrats who refused to show up to the emergency session that we had last Saturday. But you never heard one word from Speaker Pelosi. Secretary Pompeo, this is on his own time. He is working just as the job that he always does. So at any given moment, if you would have asked Mike Pompeo to do a video on his own, he would be somewhere in the world. And I think that it's good that we can hear about the work that he is doing, only bringing our allies stronger together in this administration, just continuing to keep their promise.
Speaker Pelosi this week said the president is a domestic enemy in the Constitution, saying you, the GOP on Capitol Hill, fall under domestic enemy and that it's shameful, enemy of the state. How are you going to negotiate with Speaker Pelosi in that environment? And is there any backlash for not getting something across the finish line as far as that negotiation goes?
That's a great question. You know, last time they called us the deplorables. Now, Speaker Pelosi is saying we're an enemy. If you want to know why there is no agreement yet when it comes to a new COVID bill, you heard directly from her. Remember, every time we tried to move legislation, from the very first CARES Act when she came in to hold it up, or when we needed more money for the small business employees, she stood in front of her refrigerator and said no to the nation. She's doing that exact same thing now. She always puts politics before people, and that's what's wrong. We need people who can work together, and that's exactly what you saw last night. From a Democrat state rep from Georgia standing up saying he's supporting the president and getting criticized and they want him to resign. From every walk of life, was it right to try that saved somebody's life with a drug because what this president has done? That's why I think at the end of the day, when people see the 4 days of the Republican convention and 4 days of the Democratic convention, it'll be very clear that we have a big contrast in an agenda. After the Democrat convention, there's only 3 things I know. They hate President Trump, they want to raise your taxes, and they want to defund the police. We love America and an idea that we think this is an exceptional country, a more perfect union that can take a life of a Tim Scott that can go from cotton to Congress in one generation, in one lifetime. That's amazing. Or Nikki Haley. These are the stories of America and what bring people to a party of Lincoln and which sits and folds that the next 4 years will even be better than the 4 before.
You are correct that we've heard a lot of policy jammed into even just the first night of the RNC, and there was criticism that the DNC didn't have a lot of specifics in policy. However, there was also not a Republican platform. New York Magazine writes it this way: why would the party and its candidates running for office at every level define themselves so thoroughly with a president who has never even briefly held the support of half the country? It's probably because Trump is so deeply and historically unpopular that his party has embraced him so tightly. As far as lack of a platform, that's what the New York Magazine is writing. Why is there not a platform?
First, that's just not true. And if they want to put that equation, Bill Clinton, how much did he win by? 43% or something? If you sit and look at a platform, yeah, because we're sitting in the middle of COVID, because I'm the chair of the convention as well, we were just down in Charlotte. We just agreed to the platform that we had before because you couldn't bring everybody together. But you know another contrast between the Republican and Democrat convention? Our nominees actually showed up to the location to accept the vote that went forward. That's a different place. I know Joe Biden still has not left his house inside there except for a bike ride. You cannot run a nation. You cannot run the most powerful nation in the world by staying home and not going out and talking to the American public. You cannot win an election without telling people what you're going to do for the next 4 years. And you know, last night we were able to show that the President Trump kept his promises, be it build the wall, be it make the military stronger, build the biggest economy we've ever had, criminal justice reform. Victory after victory after victory, and we'll lay out that the next 4 years will even be better.
We'll have complete coverage tonight. Last thing, does President Trump protesting mail-in voting, especially for states that haven't done it before, does that hurt you in the efforts to get some members elected? I mean, there's some Republicans or independents that obviously would choose to mail in votes in some of those states, and you need to win those seats.
Well, I think people should mail in their vote. What President Trump is saying, he wants to make sure that the vote is collected, because a mail-in vote is different than an absentee vote. A mail-in vote is where they mail to everybody who's just whatever on the list. The elections department does not clean that up. We found that in LA they had more than 1 million people that are no longer there. So you want to make sure that the absentee vote. So when you get your ballot, make sure you mail it in, but do something more. Follow it, trace it, make sure it's counted. If it's not, go to the polls.
Mr. Leader, we appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.